For too many people, the promise that hard work would help them get on in life is broken. The promise that each generation would do better than the last is broken. And the expectation that big corporations will be made to play by the rules and pay fair taxes like the rest of us is broken. So it's hardly surprising that so many people feel that the whole system is broken, that nothing works, and that they are now demanding action to fix it. The King's Speech was another chance for this government to be bold, to tell us what it stands for and why. But sadly, it failed. On Europe, ministers once again talk about pursuing a closer partnership through gradual regulatory alignment. But if the government is serious about repairing the damage caused by Brexit, it must go further and faster. Brexit has left us poorer and more isolated in what is now a more dangerous and volatile world. At home, we must build real sovereignty in energy and food independence, but our economic and national security will only come from a much deeper relationship with our closest neighbours in Europe. The tax revenue lost every year due to Brexit has been estimated to now reach £90 billion a year. That is 3 mini-budgets in a year. We Liberal Democrats have a roadmap to rebuild our relationship with the EU and to reach full membership again, starting now with a customs union to cut red tape, to support exporters, to strengthen supply chains and grow our economy. Going for growth with Europe would end the cost of living crisis. And at a time when businesses are crying out for certainty, when our economy desperately needs a shot in the arm, when families and businesses are paralysed with a never-ending cost of living crisis, the government's approach is too timid when what is needed is bold action. On the late payments bill, small businesses are the backbone of our local economies, in my St Albans constituency and across the country. But they were offered little more than a bill aimed at tackling late payments. Now, this bill is welcome, but it barely scratches the surface of the challenges facing businesses every single day. Businesses are asking, where is the action on soaring energy costs? Where is the relief from the government's damaging jobs tax? Where is the meaningful reform of business rates? New Liberal Democrat analysis reveals that 40,000 businesses are still waiting on decisions to appeal their business rates evaluations from 2023, with average waits now hitting nearly a year. And when those cases are finally heard, more than half are overturned. Business owners just want to get on with running their businesses. Instead, they're being stuck in a slow, broken, expensive, impenetrable business rates system. The Conservatives promised reform in 2015. Labour promised it at the last election. But after a decade of inaction, businesses are still paying the price. In my own constituency of St Albans, 11 pubs now have rateable values of more than £100,000 because of the revaluation, even though they can't all be considered large business premises. One of those, the Beach House, is on our main high street, St Peter Street. They saw their rateable value soar from £97,000 to £125,000, and just last week they took the decision to shut up shop for the final time. Hotels have been particularly hard hit as well. The Samuel Ryder Hotel in St Albans told me in January they will see their bill increase by 157% this year. And play centres have been penalised too. DJ's Play Jungle, a soft play centre, has been frozen out of the 15% U-turn discount offered to pubs and music venues. Many play centres will see their rates bills quadruple over the next few years. And what will be the result? Children will be priced out of indoor play. The government is introducing a competition reform bill, a regulating for growth bill and an enhancing financial services bill. Taken together, these bills are aimed at improving regulation. Now, as Liberals, we recognise that regulation has an important role to play. We believe that good regulation can be a win-win-win, protecting consumers, promoting innovation and competition, and delivering on economic growth. But regulation only works when it is effective, proportionate and responsive. Too often, compliance costs are high, regulation is focused on process, not outcome, and our regulators are far too slow. lagging far behind the industries they are supposed to oversee. This is especially true in financial services and fintech, where companies can spend months waiting for approvals and authorisations while investment dries up and opportunities disappear. For start-ups operating on tight funding runways, those delays can be devastating. So if the government is serious about growth, then it must ensure our regulatory system is agile, modern and capable of keeping pace with innovation, and it must deliver competition and growth without abandoning consumers. And at a time when financial cooperation with Europe is more important than ever, it is deeply disappointing that the stronger UK-EU financial services cooperation appears to have been overlooked in the government's so-called reset agenda. On the electricity generator levy bill, we Liberal Democrats welcome the principle behind this bill. It is right that the excess profits of electricity generators are taxed fairly, and it is right to break the outdated link between electricity prices and wholesale gas prices. And we Liberal Democrats were the only party at the last election to commit to that decoupling. But the government must go further. The revenues raised should tackle the cost of living crisis head-on. An emergency home insulation programme for low-income households, an energy security bank, action on heating oil and fuel costs, and stronger protections for small businesses struggling with energy bills. Finally, let me turn to the overnight visitor levy bill. In principle, Liberal Democrats support devolving more economic powers to local areas. Different communities face different challenges, and local leaders are often best placed to decide whether a visitor levy is appropriate for their area. But there is real concern that the government will use this levy not as an additional source of local investment to boost tourism, but as a mechanism to quietly offset future cuts to local government funding. We have seen this approach before. The government has already relied on council tax rises to compensate for reductions in central support to local authorities. So can I ask whether ministers will make it absolutely clear today, on the record, that any revenue raised through a visitor levy will genuinely be additional funding for local communities, tourism infrastructure and public services? It will not be a way for central government to sneakily offset future cuts to local government funding. And if the government does hand new powers to mayors in this area, then it must also go hand in glove with extra support for tourism and hospitality sector properly, by exempting hospitality from the jobs tax, considering lower rates for part-time staff, introducing a temporary cut to VAT for the sector, and launching a serious strategy to promote Britain's tourism industries overseas. To conclude, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Labour leadership hopefuls say they want a battle of ideas, not personalities. Well, we Liberal Democrats are fizzing with ideas. We have the ideas to fix our broken social care system. We have the ideas to fix our broken social care system, ignored by this government for 18 months. We have the roadmap to fix our broken relationship with Europe. We have the plan to fix our broken voting system, something which Labour hopefuls said they would fix and now say they won't. We have the ideas to save our high streets, to fix the broken business rate system, the broken energy market, to tackle the cost of living, and to unleash everything this great country has to offer. So I genuinely hope, that Labour leadership contenders are listening, because for our country's sake, I flippin' well hope they can match our level of ambition.